Hey everyone, so in today's vlog, we're gonna talk about what it means to get involved in other people's karma. And quite simply, karma, I feel like, is just perception. Your karma is gonna be different than my karma because I was raised differently, my environment has been different. So karma is whatever that person perceives to be good or bad, okay? So let me give you an example of getting caught up in other people's karma. So a good example is like that power over, even the parent-child dynamic. So if your parents all your life were like, you gotta be a doctor, you gotta be a doctor, this is now kind of ingrained in you. So when you get older, you really didn't think outside of going for that med degree. Outside of that, maybe you even kind of felt lost because it was drilled in your head for so long to be a doctor. So you grew up, you go to school, you've become this doctor. And maybe you become this doctor and you think you're happy, but now you don't even know if you're happy or not. See, because you're skewed. And on the outside, there's this hazy illusion because you have all these people that are happy for you. They're proud of you. This is a prestigious job. Like, oh my God. But then you go to work and you may not be loving your job. But now you don't even know what not loving your job means. You might just be thinking, maybe this is how it's supposed to feel. Maybe I'm just having a bad day, like all the time at work. Maybe this is how life is. See how that confusion can totally mess us up for so many years. It's such a distortion, but it's so well hidden that you don't even know if you love what you're doing. That is getting caught up in other people's karma. And what that does is it takes away our self-love. It takes away from our self-realization, our I don't want to say identity, but divinity. Because when you're under a lot of stress, like going to work, as I was a nurse for a really long time, but I was unhappy, but I didn't even know I was unhappy, but I was not only a nurse, I was teaching nursing. So it was a prestigious job, but I knew that I freaking hated it because I hated the politics. I hated the way the organization I was working for. I did not like the old teaching styles that we were still using. There were so many things that I didn't like, but I didn't realize how unhappy I was because from my family's perspective, whoa, she's doing great. This is what she's doing. Yay, good. From a college, university perspective, I was suppressed because they were like, you got to do it this way. No, you can't do it that way. This is the way. It's power over again. This is the way it's always been done, and this is where you're going to go, and this is how you're going to teach it. So for a long time, I didn't even know I was unhappy. I just thought that this is just the way it is. And it's because I had no inner understanding of happiness. And that is where we begin to get lost. That's where, when you look around, you're like, well, what does make me happy? What do I like? Another thing, I'll give you my personal example that really messed with my karma was, for me, I started allowing myself to get intertwined with my son's karma. So my son is now 19, and when he left for university last year, and I'll never forget, I went to the grocery store. I've always gone to the same Safeway, and he wasn't here, and I had to shop for myself. I went into that grocery store that I had been going to for over a decade, and guess what? I freaking had no idea of what I liked. I had no clue to what I wanted to buy for myself to eat. I was looking around the grocery store and I was so overwhelmed because I didn't even know where to start. to buy for myself. If it was for my son, oh, I have a routine that I would go through, like not all the aisles, but on the outside, I know exactly what I need. I know what I want. I would go to Safeway, I would go to Chan's, I would go to the butcher shop. But when I went for myself, it was so overwhelming. I actually had to put my little cart down and I left the store. That's how caught up I was in my own child's karma that I lost my sense of like, what do I even like to eat? Because all these years I had been just making food for him and what he likes and just eating whatever. So I hope that helps. Those are some examples of how we can so easily get caught up in other people's karma, and it's so like sly, and when you slide into it, it just becomes such routine. You don't even know that you're losing yourself when you're in it. You don't even know that not recognizing that suppression because of the illusion of, like, I thought I was being a good mom by cooking my child food that he liked, you know? So that was my illusion, my delusion that kept this behavior going. So I never bought for myself. I always just bought for him, but then I lost myself somewhere in that. And that's why people are often confused and don't even know what they want. And I get that. I get you. If you feel like that, I get you. And you only, though, know this, you only come to the realization that you don't know what you want until you've realized, like, do I want that? What? Is that right? So the best way, how do you get out of it? Always just ask yourself a question. Am I liking this? No. Why aren't you liking this? This wasn't mine in the first place. Why wasn't it yours in the first place? Well, I did it because it made everybody else around me happy and comfortable. Does it make you happy? I said it, no. So then what are you gonna do to make yourself happy? And let's go back to, so these are the questions I would ask myself. Let's go back to the food situation. I literally, when I asked myself that question, you gotta eat, so what are you gonna do to make yourself happy? I'm gonna figure out what I like. I'm gonna figure out what I like. How are you gonna figure out what you like? What did I used to like before this child took over? I used to be vegan. I used to love like vegan food. So when I remembered that, like that time when I actually enjoyed eating, I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna go to Nature's Fair. They always have organic vegan food. Then when I went into Nature's Fair, I was like excited to shop. I was excited because they had all these different types of foods that my son would never eat, by the way, but I loved. And now I realize, like when he comes back to visit, I realize, okay, I've still got to be happy. I'm going to buy this for myself. He's not going to eat it, so I've just got to get something different from him. But see how we get lost? Love you guys so much.